neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. AJ, A-Dub, Marco, and Stretch. Keeping it forthright, vulnerable, and...
Welcome back to another episode of the Informally Honest Podcast. Might be the last one that we do for the year. We got one more.
I don't know.
We'll check it because we've been off and on, so I don't know how we felt about still taking December off and whatnot. We'll see.
Yeah.
But welcome back. We thank y'all for joining us again, and it's just a dynamic duo riding today. Ash Place in the building. That's right. Oh man. AJ, bro, how you feeling? Been a week. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah, it's been a while. I'm feeling all right. Just surviving the times.
Hear that? It's funny. I was listening to the episodes that we just released, realizing that we recorded that like a month ago.
Yeah, it was or 2 months ago. It was a minute ago.
Because it's like, get those tickets to that show.
Oh yeah. Oh man, dang, that was.
I completely forgot that we even said that.
Yeah.
Or that I said that. When I was listening to it, like, man, anybody listening to this episode is going to be. That show on November 3rd.
Yeah. Dang, I forgot about the show. My bad, man.
Oh, you good, man? No worries. No worries at all.
I was meant to go too.
But the show went well. Was for the most part, I only had like one thing in the show that I was a little disappointed in myself about, but that was my own fault for not rehearsing with the hair that I would have on stage. Because normally I tie my shit the fuck up so it don't accost me in the eye. And
that makes sense.
The way that I usually wear for a show is somewhat down, and I should have been rehearsing a little more like that. So when I would do stuff like turn, it's just slapping me like Robin, what was that old Robin Harris bit at the end of Baby as Kids. And it's like, your daddy get home and beat you with the old broken record. Whoop you when I wanna.
Yeah. I remember that. Like if there was such thing as viral moments, like I feel like everybody was doing that in class, like back in the day.
Yes. So a lot of shit has happened since the last time we recorded that we didn't talk about. Between what is it? DJ Envy finally got discovered for real estate scamming. Whole lot of women started being mad at Cheesecake Factory for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of things have been going on in the world. Most of which is gonna be forewarning. We're gonna talk about a very controversial subject, but we're not gonna talk about the subject itself as to avoid any of y'all fuck nuggets from trying to come at us sideways, but we're gonna keep it informal as we always do. We're gonna talk about Israel, Palestine. Now, there's a lot of things we could say inside of this. Some opinions may be expressed, but it is not to indict us as if we are the most educated motherfuckers on here. By all means, you can go look up Bassem Youssef or anyone else that is much more educated on the subject if you want to hear that shit. But much like irritating Beyonce fans, we're here to talk about y'all niggas. So, and the complete ignorance and stupidity that we've experienced or seen in regards to this highly controversial occurrence going on in the Middle East. And so, first of all, any like perspectives that you want to just throw out there about it itself, or you just want to go straight into experiences?
No, definitely. Like so for me, it's like I'm okay. Cause I feel like there's got to be. I feel like for this subject, you got to give a disclaimer for every paragraph. Disclaimer. But I'm half joking, but like, so for me, it's like I think what's going on is wrong on So we know that this conflict has been going on forever, like for millenniums, like for a very long
Primarily
time.
though in the last 75 years. Like
Yeah.
the most I guess immediately affected parts is that part. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And from my, and I could be completely wrong. So, somebody please correct me, or Josh, maybe, so this particular conflict, the recent one,
Mm-hmm.
it started, if I'm not mistaken, like some people had like, they kind of snuck into some neighborhood and killed some folks, right? Is that right? Or,
General thing, yeah, like an attack yeah. October 7th, a bunch of people got killed by Hamas on the Israeli side or whatnot. Yeah.
okay. So I think that's wrong. But then I also think bombing hospitals and places that have been deemed off limits,
Mm-hmm.
in war. Like, now I don't know if Israel is, I can't imagine they're not. I can't, let me take a step back. I'm gonna say United States, because I do know about the United States. And so
Mm-hmm.
the United States is involved with the Geneva Convention, which if
Mm-hmm.
anyone doesn't know what that is, it's like basically a bunch of rules, of war.
Right.
That's like the major, uh, the major basis of what the Geneva Convention is about. And part of those rules is you can't bomb places like schools,
Churches and
hospitals,
hospitals, yeah.
you know, places that would be deemed soft targets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's off limits, and the United States knows that. So for me, it's disappointing for the United States to not be like, "Hey, Israel, let's if you want to retaliate. What's the word I'm looking for? Civilly. Like
Yeah.
if you want to go to war with their war folks, and you guys fight it out, then fine. But killing like children, women, or even innocent men that have nothing to do with it,
Mm-hmm.
that's not, that's not. I can't get behind that. I can't get. I'm not on either side, so I need to say that because I don't understand enough about either I don't know enough about the conflict to take a side. But
Right.
what I do know is it's wrong to kill innocent people. So I could say that, and both sides have done that.
Yeah.
And you could say one side has done it because the other side have done it more, but um, but yeah. So I would say, because like I said, it's hard for me to, I don't want to say the wrong thing, and everyone is scared to say the wrong thing. So
Right.
that's why I'm gonna criticize the U.S. because I know about the U.S. I know I've served, for the U.S. So there's things that I know that we should be doing that we're not doing, and
Mm-hmm.
that's messed up. Like sending them money, to further kill women and children is like
Mm-hmm.
kind of crazy to me. When we pride ourselves on being like, we'll try to pride ourselves on being like a moral, you know, state, country, whatever.
Right.
And then like
Right.
when we know that, no one has killed more people probably in the world than the US government in the last 100 years. So I mean, so that's my take on that part.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I feel you on that. I only know what I've been able to become privy to in passing,
mhm.
but because I'm not doing hardcore research to get the complete minutia of it all, I will always put the disclaimer out of you have no reason to listen to me. I'm not educated. Like go listen to people who it's their work.
Yeah.
It is what they are committed to or what their direct experience is to educate you on that. That's not what the fuck you came here. You came here because you want to listen to some random niggas talk shit. And so
and some informally honest takes.
and some informally honest takes. Now, here's my particularly informal take. Looking at the base of it. So before we get into who's entitled to what for whatever reason, because my brother, sister, cousin was Jesus, and Jesus said he was coming back, and since Jesus practiced the way that I practice, we supposed to get it. Oh, but we were here already, so you trying to take our indigenous land. Like, we're not gonna get into any of that shit. What I'm clear about is when one side can control the other side's electricity, water, food, and internet, I'm pretty sure we can all figure out which side is niggas.
Yeah.
And I gotta go. I have a tendency to lean toward the side that's niggas.
That's fair.
Doesn't mean that both sides don't suffer in some sort of ways. It doesn't mean that anyone is justified in their actions. Because what I do find an issue with, among many things, is the conflation of military powers, government powers, people, and their religious practices.
Yeah.
Because I know both because we get into like this ethno religion or religion, like racial religion people and all kinds of stuff. So we're talking about like whatever, Ashkenazi and Sephardic Jews are on this side, even though there are people who are Palestinian and Jewish. And then there are Arab people who may be aligned with Israeli side. But is the thing of Islamic people who align with the Israeli side. But there's a whole thing of a Zionist government is not responsible for Jewish people or Israeli citizens are not responsible for the views and actions of a Zionist government.
Yeah.
In the same way that I, as a nigga, don't like most of the shit the fucking US does or has a history of, especially because I am a victim of circumstance of the US. And so, but when the US does shit to the world, unfortunately, because I am forced into paying taxes, I am now responsible and liable for things the US does, which luckily, anytime we travel across the world or whatnot, because I'm a nigga, I am not automatically going to be associated to the U.S. as if I were a white man.
That's funny that you meant. That's a good point. That's a really good point. So, specifically, like being a Black American and then traveling.
Yeah,
because I feel like you're almost greeted differently. Like people don't look at you as the loud, ignorant American, which is ignorant. I mean, which is interesting because you could say that could be like a stereotype for Black people in America. but when white Americans go to, Europe or Asia or whatever, they're looked at as like the loud, ignorant person in the room. Yes. And it's just funny that that's, the case. But I will say this, it's a little off subject, but not. Like, I remember being overseas and then, Trump, this is like shortly after Trump was elected. And it's funny because they just see like when they see someone elected president, they just say, oh, the American people voted for this person. And although we know that's true, but not like everybody voted for Donald Trump, obviously. But anyway, so this person was asking me like, why did you guys elect Donald Trump? I'm like, I didn't elect Donald Trump. So like they think that, outsiders would think that whoever the president is because we have not all, but like generally most people have come together and said, this is who we want to be the president. And that's not really how that works.
Right.
Because it goes the same for, my bad. It goes the same for, policies. Like there's a policy passed, not because every American like wanted it. It's just, that's just how it happened, how it played out.
and it makes me wonder about like the alleged democratic states of other countries who align with that political ideology, if they also function on these people represent us, so we vote for those people, or popular vote actually wins. I think most things in the country would be different if popular vote won.
Oh yeah, yeah, because in most countries that is the case. There's no electoral college,
and that's what I'm saying. I don't know if because I couldn't tell you how Parliament works.
Yeah, I don't know.
And so
something about some flashlights or something. I don't know.
Right, Parliament. I don't know what the UN does. I don't really know how any of these political things work. But as far as the electoral college, it's such a stupid fucking system that needs to be abolished. But
and it's I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's based on racism, and it's like I feel like when we say that, a lot of people think that we're just quote playing the race card, but people don't really understand there's so much in this country that is race related. When you pull back the layers, you'll oh dang, there's racism and everything.
Yeah.
So when people be asking me when I was on Facebook more actively, there were people that I would work with. They're like, man, why you always talk about race? Or why is it always about race? I'm like, if you peel back the layers, it's almost always about race. That's just how it is.
Yes.
And electoral college is no different. I'm not going to go on history, but it's no different. So,
not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Because but even taking it back to this whole Israel Palestine thing, because what even bothers me is when people go, "Oh, it's Israel versus Hamas," and I'm like, "Wait a minute. You're saying it's an occupying force versus a governing group, but you're treating the entire country, non-country, however it's politically identified, of Palestine as if it is this thing, while also acting like y'all aren't the representation of Zionism. You get to just be Israel as opposed to this clearly kind of evil entity of Zionism, while calling Hamas a terrorist group that says the eradication of Jews is a part of their foundation, yada yada yada, all that stuff. But treating innocent Palestinian citizens as if they're all this they voted them into power and yada yada yada. And I'm going, most people don't like their governing forces. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What I've seen people, go.
No, that's good. You go ahead.
From what I've seen, a lot of Israeli people don't like Netanyahu, and a lot of Palestinian people don't care that for Hamas being in power. But again, I'm getting too caught up in the political side of this. Let me talk more so about y'all motherfuckers. Us speaking about this is not to express necessarily our opinions on it, because we know we don't know shit. We kind of know shit.
Yeah.
The internet is the worst cesspool of people who don't know shit, acting like they know shit. Now, here's the thing. I can watch TikToks with the best of them. I love a good TikTok education and whatnot, because I know I'm not going to do that much follow-up. I'll do a little bit. But it's like when I watch Hamilton for the first time, it didn't make me go, you know what? I need to go read the Reynolds pamphlet, because this was fascinating shit. Let me go read the Confederates papers. No, I'm not going to do. I'm going to take this at face value and go, okay, I guess that's some information I know now, with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But y'all motherfuckers getting out here. I had shared one thing about when the first hospital got hit. And I didn't do like I normally do and throw disclaimers on anything that have to do with political stuff, especially political shit that I really don't know about. But it was something about a hospital. It had mentioned the hospital being hit, but the general sentiment of the post, it was just a reshare on Instagram or whatever. The general sentiment was, this is fucked up. Nobody should be dying for unfounded reasons. And to me, religious entitlement to a land on some colonial bullshit is that thing I said a second ago that I came up with a phrase and I used. I think that is. And so it's more so about that. this young woman who used to take my class way back when I was teaching up on the north side. Saw the post on Facebook, on my Facebook story, DMs me in a tangent about that hospital wasn't even attacked by Israel. It was a misfire from Hamas, which was, I don't know if that was true or propaganda. But all in all, she goes on this tirade to end the statement by going, if you hate Jews, just say that. And I was like, what? Now,
yeah, that's funny.
Because you cannot, taking the actions of a government and trying to play some kind of victim card as if this, no, that's not what's happening here. This isn't hate speech. This might be misinformation, but the sentiment of the post wasn't even that. If we're reading, and so first thing I'm going to do is read this message to make sure it's a real person saying stupid shit and not a bot. And so once I get past that part of it, I start off the message by going, hey, first of all, I'm gonna need you to calm the fuck down. Okay?
Yeah.
We barely know each other and you ain't about to be talking to me crazy. Yeah. Secondly, I'm Black. This ain't the oppression Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's calm the fuck down and have logical discourse based on the information that we know, not that we feel, that we know. And yeah, go ahead.
No, it's for me, it's like you said, she ended it up by saying, if you hate Jews, just say that. But
yeah,
it almost feels like she's trying to force some beliefs on you that you didn't even exhibit in that post. Like you didn't say anything about hating Jews or even supporting a side from my understanding. Like just because kind of going back to what I said, like for me, I don't care which side it is. If you bomb a hospital, whether Israel bombs it or whether the other folks do it, it's wrong. It's wrong to me. Just because I just think that's messed up. Because there's people in the hospital that probably have nothing to even do with the conflict. That like somebody's in there because they got gout and they just happen to be in the hospital. Like, dang, man, I'm just trying to get a checkup. But
and even with the bombing, I go like, yo, are we really even reading? Like how many bombs are being dropped? And just the logic. Can we use logic in these situations? If a big talking point for you is that one side has taken hostages, right? And you want to get those hostages out. How is carpet bombing the entire area gonna do that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's might kill hostages. But to go, like, I guess to add on to what you're saying about like just people in the world talking about it.
Yeah.
I was saying it offline, but I'll repeat it. I've been seeing people like, say stuff like, so basically they'll take a random person reacting to something that they deem is not worthy to react to. So like, in this situation that I saw, and maybe some people even know about this particular situation, but there's a Chargers fan, the Los Angeles Chargers, the football team. They were playing, I forgot what team they were playing. This was like probably a month ago, if that. They were playing some team. There's a fan in the stands that the camera kept panning to because she was having these crazy like reactions to the game. Like there's really like amped up. And the Chargers end up losing the game ultimately. So, she was excited that they were winning at one point, and then at the end they lose at the last minute. So she's devastated. And anyway, I don't know if this was ESPN or NFL that posted this clip.
Okay.
But one of the sports, pages posted that story. And then someone in the comment section was like, I can't believe she's responding like this when there's people dying, in was it Israel? In Palestine. And I'm like, that's absolutely terrible that people are dying in Palestine, but Palestinians are dying, I should say. But it doesn't have anything to do with an NFL football game.
It doesn't.
It just doesn't. And it's like, and you're trying to guilt trip this woman, and also probably people that are also feel the same way as she did about that team losing the game, is like, it's just not, you just, I'll put it this way, it makes people like want to disregard your argument. Like, like if that is your argument, you wording it like that, like the young lady saying, if hate is real, just say that. Like, if you want to just talk and have a conversation, let's have a conversation. But
let's have a conversation, right?
When you start like, kind of like accusing someone of hating something that, and you don't even know this person's like, background like that, you're turning people off from even wanting to even hear your side about it. So it's like, and I get that social media, it's just a bunch of, and I'm guilty of it, I'm sure at times, but just, we have our points that we believe, and we just go full force, but that you don't get anywhere by doing that
at all. And especially because I feel like there's always going to be mad turmoil happening in the world. By all means, with all this stuff happening in Israel and Palestine, of course, I wish there was more talk about, what's going on in the Congo, what's going on in Sudan,
exactly.
that are just as, if not worse, as far as like fucked up shit going on. But again, niggas will get less publicity. But this thing of there's always going to be bad things, and as fucked up of a sentiment as it is, it's not that you can. Everyone only has the bandwidth to care about so much. I care about all these things happening. I know that I can only do so much.
Yeah, if anything.
I mean, if anything.
Yeah.
And so, like with the things, I was talking to a friend who was feeling like mad heavy and empathetic and whatnot because she feels the ways about all three of those situations I just mentioned, among other things that are going on in her personal life and whatnot. And she just felt like weighed down by it all. And she's like, I'm mad. I get frustrated because I see people just living their life. And I don't get how, because there's so much stuff going on and the world is on fire. And I go, why does anyone think this bitch hasn't been ablaze the entire time?
Is this social? I don't want to be the person that blames everything on social media, because those people annoy me too. but social media definitely has given us a level of insight that people 30 years ago couldn't dream of. Like we see everything. When Vietnam War was going on, we didn't have a firsthand of like people that were actually living the situation. People didn't have phones to document like what was actually going on.
Right.
Like we're getting like firsthand accounts of just random people, not journalists.
No, just random people on the street showing the decimation.
Yeah. So and I think that is what helps sensationalize these events. It's like, because we're getting everything. Like I think of another situation like forest fires, for example. I've seen clips of that I've never really been fearful of forest fires. Like, okay, they're just going to burn the woods down, whatever. But I've seen clips of people trapped in them. I'm like, this is terrifying. But I would have never even had that fear to be trapped in one had it not been for just random social media users.
That is a great example. So I saw one video of like a mountainside in California and showing a forest fire. I was like, that's a like tidal wave of fire. That you're driving past.
Yeah.
How are you not like, oh, that's what the fifth level of hell looks like? I can see how people could be terrified.
And I've seen clips of like people driving through the fire. Like there's fire on both sides of the road, and they're like,
that's
hopefully
wild.
They could get out of it at some point. But that's all I'm saying is like, and I know what like your friend, like I used to feel like that. Like when I cared about everything and I would post about everything and I'm like, and it's like, this is driving me crazy. Like, it's just like, so like you have to step back and like, okay, I can't. And then like, I would realize like I'm posting about all this stuff, but nothing's changing.
Different. Yeah.
So like, and maybe there might be a handful of people that got that information that because maybe they don't follow certain news outlets online, or maybe they don't follow people that talk about that stuff. So like maybe like 3 people got informed by this post. I'm like, this is, I'm wasting my time, and I'm just bringing myself down. I'm like kind of like what your friend was saying. Like you just start to feel heavy about everything. And I was feeling the same way. Like, man, how can like people just be just chilling? I'm like, in fact, that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm trying to get to a place where I can just be like just at ease no matter what's going on in the world, because you're just driving yourself crazy
Yeah.
ultimately.
Because the thing is, I feel like it's not that I don't care about those things. I care for the amount of contribution I can make toward it. I can try to, get as educated as I can withstand on the subject. I can help to pass that information along to others. Like I got as the OGs would say, I got young bloods that I'm around all the time.
Yeah.
That will tell themselves they don't bother with politics. And I go, I remember when I was like that, and I can't help but be bothered by politics now because I get how immediately affected I am by it, and you don't get that yet.
Yeah.
And that's a privilege that you realize that you haven't thought about how you're affected yet.
Right.
And
yeah.
What was it? Fuck. It was something that we were just talking about. Oh, like even a few months back, when we talk about people not necessarily caring immediately about things that go on, fucking extraterrestrials were confirmed, and people still went meh.
Yeah, like, that was mind blowing to me. Like, or like another situation where like this isn't as big as as aliens, but I thought like why is this not all over the news? But there was a podcast. I forgot which one it was, but it was a one mainly NBA players on there.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was, but I remember Gilbert Arenas was talking, and he was talking to, well, I think it's his podcast actually, but, and I forgot who it was the guest. The guest was basically saying how the NBA is rigged, which I mean, a lot of people say that jokingly, oh, it's rigged, but this guy was like, no, it's in what he was saying like kind of made sense. So basically, he was referring to like the 2012. Well, it had to be Eastern Conference Finals, and basically, I think this guy played for the Sixers, I think.
Okay.
And they were playing against the Cavaliers with
LeBron,
and basically, his teammate, I guess, that's an older guy on the team. He's seen his fair share of things. The OG, I guess you could say. He's like, basically, they're gonna have to win by 15 points to win by 1. Basically saying like we're gonna have to be up a lot for us to win this game because we're not supposed to win the game. And then he was like, and the guy was like, what? Like, you're tripping. And would you rather see, I don't know who played in the finals that year.
Was that the year they played Dallas or?
It was Golden State, I think.
Okay.
So it's like, was it 2012? No, the Golden State they wasn't Golden State yet.
Was it Dallas?
Maybe it was Dallas, but basically it was like
San Antonio, maybe. I don't know.
But basically the guy was like, who would you rather see in the finals? LeBron and whoever the Western team was, or the 76ers? And the guy was like, I wouldn't even want to see us play that team. So he was like, so basically saying that like, now that's not to say just because the NBA wants something to happen, that doesn't mean they can make it happen. Like the guy was saying, we can win the game, but we're gonna have to be like, they didn't win the game, of course.
Like
but
we had to be exceptional in order to win the game because we're not supposed to win the game.
Exactly. And like for me, I'm like, I'm not even saying that's true, but for an NBA player to make that type of declaration, you'd think that ESPN would pick it up, Fox Sports would pick it up, that it would be talked about like, right the next day.
Unless they already know that.
Or exactly. Either they know it or they're like, we're not going to touch that. We're going to just act like we didn't hear it. Like that type of thing. Like that seemed like too big for us to touch because we don't want to end up in a ravine somewhere. So we're just going to not touch it. That's what it's because for me, I'm like, why is this story like, because that was my first time hearing it, but you can look when it was posted 3 months ago.
I think I know what you're talking about. This sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay. So, and for me, I'm like, this should have been like the story of the summer. Like, but I don't know. And so, and you add the fact that sports betting is huge now. So it's like, if the last thing that any of these leagues need is for the people to actually believe that it's rigged. Because once that happens, you don't have a product anymore. But I mean, people still watch it. And even though like there's a lot of speculation that things are rigged, even more so now that sports betting has blown up,
right?
People still watch. So,
but chance is too lucrative in sports.
Yeah.
And once you remove chance,
yeah.
Word. Well, I think we can wrap there. We want to make sure we gave y'all something. So short one today. We appreciate you, and tell us if y'all had any experiences with any, I don't know, woke zealots or or even the other side of just zealots. Because I think when it comes to controversy, people are going to try to find some way to make themselves seem smart for some reason. I don't know. I don't have time for it. It bothers me. But we appreciate y'all and we love you. And by all means, let us know your informal honesty. Like, oh yeah, I told this motherfucker da 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 da, and then he was like, it's real, but yeah, whatever. Give us a whole rundown. Tell us the situation in detail. We might read on the podcast. And we appreciate you. You know where to hit us. informallyyhonestpodcast@gmail.com and informally honest on everything except Twitter. That's informally_HP. We love you. We appreciate you. Adam, final thoughts.
Man, final thoughts. I had something too. Sucks. I guess just stay safe. I had a coworker get COVID. I thought people were done getting that. So that's my final thought.
Still happens occasionally.
Yeah.
And I saw a hilarious post from Stephen A. I guess he takes Twitter questions now.
On his podcast. Yep.
On his show.
Oh, dang. Okay.
And somebody said, Stephen A., if it meant that the Knicks could get a championship, would you give up sex for a year?
That's gotta be funny. What did he say?
He went, I've been disappointed for decades, but nah. I love sex too much.
That's funny.
That created two hilarious thoughts in me. One, a sentiment that I believe everybody should feel is it don't matter how much you want something else to go on outside of yourself that you care about, your pleasure should come first.
Yeah.
That's the first thought. And secondly was, who is fucking Steve?
That's funny. I mean, he got money, so
he does. But I'm just like, the women that's throwing it to Stephen A., I just know that has to be hilarious strokes.
No, I agree. I completely agree. That man is a true. He'd be a dude I would love to hang around, just because he's just such a character. Like, yeah. So I'm just trying to imagine this man in that setting. I mean, I guess I shouldn't, but it just would be hilarious.
Yo, I'm not one of them motherfuckers. Like, it's not a sexual thing to me. Yeah. Like, if you're funny enough, I'm not imagining you having sex per se, but I am very just like curious. Like, are you this person when you beating it up?
That's what I'm saying.
If it is, that I might watch that. Like that sounds hilarious to me. Most porn is funny to me, and I want to laugh. Like, I'm not like so that's just a hilarious. So at the end of it all, I brought that up to say it don't matter what you care about. If it's between that and your pleasure, choose your pleasure. That's my final thought.
Okay. Sure.
All right. Peace.
So.
Oh, I probably should have said the sign out, but y'all heard the theme song. No matter who you connect with, no matter what type of companion you choose to copulate with, We encourage, empower, and implore you. Always keep it forthright, keep it vulnerable. Do your goddamn giggity goddamn honest. Do your giggity goddamn best to keep it honest. Jesus, I haven't done this in a few weeks. All right, we love y'all. I hope not. Don't go weeks without it, y'all. That's if you got access. All right, peace.
Still access. Just kidding. Peace out.
Four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana. Four brothers from the Miller neighborhood of Gary, Indiana.